Hey y'all, it's your girl Inertia, and we are here today to go over my 8-0 PQ winning Dory deck list. Um, some disclaimers, some shoutouts. First of all, shout out to NXI. His channel is NXI-GLHF. Uh, blatantly copying his idea for the video. I saw his video and I said, I'm doing the same thing. And we're rushing this out because it's Friday. I got two PQs back to back the next 2 days, and we're just gonna rip this video out. We will be opening the gold foil eventually at a surprise point during the video. It will not be the end, it will be a surprise point during the video. So you either gotta search for it or you gotta watch till the end. Yeah, and shout outs to all the 11 Dorinthea winners. That's crazy. Also, disclaimer with the list. I don't want to discount any play, but I feel like I was incredibly lucky. I am going to be 100% honest. A few days before the PQ, I was not feeling confident at all. But here we are. We did it. It feels good. We're trying to feel good about it, and yeah. So we're gonna get into it. This is no particular order, except I want to start with sharpened steel. Three sharpened steel here. Um, so the way I think about that glare is horrible. We need to fix that. Where's that glare coming from? There we go. So the way I think about attack actions or non-attack actions that buff is basically their attacks with an extra +3. So what do I mean? So this is +3. So that extra +3 puts it to 6. And then you also add 1 for the cost, right? So you're adding the cost of Dawnblade to the non-attack actions. What I'm trying to say. So with this card, you're paying 6 to attack for 1. With something like Valor, you are paying 2 to attack for 9, threatening 12, including the second swing, right? So this is what you need. You need to push 7 to 9 on the first swing or more. And I think y'all not playing this card are crazy, but that's just the way we think about attack actions moving forward. Is you add 1 to the cost, add 3 to the power, and that is your attack. So we're just gonna go in no particular order. One Nourishing Emptiness. I don't think this card needs any introduction. This is the only attack action in the deck. The line that I try to do is have a 0 cost go again. Dawnblade, Nourishing Emptiness. That is a 3 resource turn, and hopefully you have an arsenal already, or you try to arsenal the card. So you're going for that 6 card hand. Puncture. This is the only 3 of. I think I have 1. The only +3. I have 1 out for blood in the deck, which was like last minute addition, but this is generally the only +3 for 1 that I had. Unless I make major changes to this list for the weekend, which I might. It's just potentially +4. It has won me games for sure. With singing in particular, it won me the finals versus Phi. Speaking of that, we're going to take a quick intermission. So the first round was Bravo, just steamrolled. The next round was Levia. I got the greasiest, luckiest top deck you've ever seen with a top decked red response. That was the only card that could have helped me kill them with no access to resources. That was just super, super cheese. Third round is that was Dromai. Just snowballed, steamrolled. The next one was Briar. That was pretty close, but I'm quite confident in the Briar matchup. I'm not scared of Briar really at all. Take 4 per card and you're happy. Then it was, might have been, I think it was Oldham. So that Oldham player was the 4th ELO in Canada for CC specifically. And we'll talk about matchups later, but I run 72 cards in the Oldham. That might change. Really afraid of being fatigued here. And for my Oldham games, I don't know how I did it because the next following Wednesday I played this player again and got destroyed, and in that same armory played against the seventh best ELO in Canada and also got destroyed. So with using the same strategy. So I don't know how I did it, guys. But anyway, we're going to continue. I run 9 Valor. 3 Valor is obvious. 3 Response. We're going to talk about the sideboard later. 3 Supremacy. 3 Plow Through is just good in like all but 2 matchups. It's good against take it out versus Kano, take it out versus the mirror. Stays in every other time. You probably run up against Bowlander even, and it's just good. Spoils +2 go again. So let's talk about Copper for a bit. Copper wins me so many games. I do not run Providence. Copper just wins me so many games. You can just cycle your hand. It's kind of like Providence, but on demand. You can do it when your opponent didn't block, when you didn't want to block, and you have tempo. You draw a blue brick. That is how I correct the blue bricks, is with the Copper. Yeah, moving on. 3 Route. 3 Overpower. Oh yeah, so here's the 1 out for blood. So with these reds in mind, I'm playing a really all-in, aggressive Dawnblade. That is the style of this deck. If you don't want to play all-in aggressive Dawnblade, don't listen to anything I say, basically. Right, so, and we're going fast. I'm trying not to miss anything. This is a very aggressive, very greedy on the reprise cards, because you know that certain decks are going to trigger reprise. So you just go all in on the greed. So we'll talk about matchups in a bit. 3 Singing. We went 2 Twinning. 1 or 2 is correct. I don't think you want 3. I'm considering for this weekend adding in the red hit and runs, which could make 2 or 3 Twinning good. I don't know yet. I'm having a bit of a identity crisis. I don't know when to. I don't know what to run anymore after that armory, especially against Oldham. 3 Glistening, 3 Valor, 2 Determination. I think 2 Determination's good in any match. I won against Oldham on a Supremacy turn, drew Determination off Supremacy, broke the chain and played it. I can't remember if I drew the Twinning on the second hit or if I had it in hand. I'm pretty sure I had it in hand. So he goes to block the second one. He didn't calculate the third hit. And on the third hit, he dies. So if he didn't die, I would have had tempo for the rest of the game. Either way, I like Twinning as a finisher. But that's where Iron Song Determination really came in handy. So moving on to the blues. Actually, you know what? Okay, we're opening it. We're opening it now. Here we go. I'm still not emotionally ready, but here we go. We're doing it. Okay, here it is. It's done. It's unsealed. It's done. We're doing it. Oh boy. So I'm guessing this is the top. So we're opening it like this. No. This is the top. This is more stressful than actually playing the game. Okay, wait, no. They're both the top. I think this is the top. Yeah, okay, we're right. We're right. What is it? What's in the box? Oh boy. Okay, on 3. 1, 2. Bullseye. I don't know if that's a good hit or not. I have no idea. Anyway, that's what it is. Okay, continuing with the deck. 3 unmovable. So I said this was an all-in offensive list, but so these are the defense reactions I chose to run, and they did work as intended. Will they continue to work as intended? I have no idea. But basically, you want to pitch them. Sorry, the flow chart goes: you draw your hand, you have the opportunity to block. If Guardian presents something that you want to block it. Hopefully you have a defense. If they react, then hopefully you have a defense reaction in hand, and then you can play it. If they don't react, then you get to pitch the defense reaction and maintain your tempo. That is the theory. Will it work? Will it continue to work? Does it work as well if you run 72 cards? Should I be running less than 72 cards against Guardian? I have no idea, but this is why we run these. That is the reasoning. You always run Tunic when you run these defense reactions. You're never not running Tunic with these in your deck. It's these plus Tunic, or none of these and no Tunic. Carrying on. Blue response is disgusting. It makes perfect blocking so risky, and it just feels so gross when it works. And you can also just bait out, or not bait out, you can draw out the sink below with just +1. And I feel like it gives you really good economy on defense reactions. Blue hit and run, all the 0-cost blue go-agains are in the deck. And that is why, because they cost 0, they give go again, they're blue and they block 3. They're just good. Precision Press is a blue that costs 1 and gives go again, which is to me good enough economy. And it really makes blue hands playable with blue plow through. If you don't have the copper, or if you have copper and you want to be hyper efficient, you don't want to cycle, maybe save them for another turn, then you can go, maybe even have counters, like let's say 2 counters +1 here, +1 if they block with attack action, +1 if they block with armor. It's really difficult for them to play properly into that. And then maybe your blue hand looks like this. Maybe your blue hand looks like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good. You'd probably need an arsenal to pay for all 3 of these. You would need an arsenal, I think. Like one of these 4 cards would have to be in your arsenal. And then you'd have to have just another blue. Any other blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a really solid 5 blue hand in my opinion. So that's why these 2 are in the deck, to kind of support that potential all blue brick hand that you can still play. 3 glint needs no explanation. 3 overpower, again, is like not really requiring an explanation. Recovered response. 3 energy potion. So the reason why we run 3 energy potion is because I was running a 72 card deck into Oldhim. 2 I don't think is enough to really see them. I did run 72 into Bravo as well. And the whole Guardian strategy that I was using was accumulate EPOT, accumulate copper, and you just have like free value sitting on the table over the long game that allows you to pop off. In the Armory on Wednesday, that wasn't even a possibility. I just died, right? It was like too much of a health lead for the Guardian player, and I just died. I'm experimenting playing a lot more risky in a 60-card deck. I've listened to Lau's commentary on each individual matchup. He says if you just race Oldhim or Guardian, you will just lose. That's what he says. It's been testing pretty well into Oldhim, just playing like hyper risky 60 card, turn it into a race. But against Bravo, it really doesn't seem to work. I think you do need the blue reactions into Bravo, and like I said, I'm really trying to work out what the heck I'm going to do for this weekend. So here we go. 3 Valor. I run 9 Valor always. I think you need really 9 Valor is a must play because you need to really be like, you must block me. You must make it very clear to the opponent, you should block this, you must block this, you are incentivized to block. To really balance out the reprise and your other stuff going on. Amazing into aggro. Valor is just crazy into aggro. And Fi is the most represented deck. So if you want to beat Fi, like, yo, here you go. This is the list. 0 cost go again, hit and run. There's only 3. And we covered the remaining defense reactions. Shunt, unmovable. Just to recap, everything is a 3 of. I'm going to pull out the non-3 ofs. Just to recap, everything is a 3 of except for Out for Blood and Nourishing, 1 of each. 2 Determination. 2 Twinning. I think the entire blues were 3 ofs. Oh yeah, so everything else is a 3 of, except for those cards, just so you know, if it wasn't clear. So, oh yeah, sideboarding. So, the sideboarding's actually pretty easy. I don't have it written down, but this is like the general. So, take out Unmovable, take out Shunt, take out the E-Pots against aggro, which is like pretty obvious, and we take out 1 Overpower, 1 Route, and 1 Response. So you always want to take out 12 cards. There's 8 equipment, and then against Guardian, I just put all these in the deck. There's some other reprise matchups. Icelander is one of them, where I would bring in these 3. I'd probably consider bringing in E-Pot against Icelander. These come out. And basically are up against the reprise matchups. Like, if you know they're going to block, if you know they're going to try to like play mid-range against you, you want to bring these 3 back in. Even without these 3, it's still pretty heavy on reprise, which is why to aggro the Valor is really good, because if they don't block the Valor, you're still happy, right? So what do we take out? Sometimes we take out Plowthrough. It was really pretty random what I did. We got to pick 6 cards. I'd probably take out 1 Puncture. Might take out 1 Twinning. And like maybe 1 Valor, but probably not. Oh yeah, we drop. See, this is why I haven't done the sideboard guide, because I don't know. This is why I did the gold foil already, because now we're just getting into the territory where I can't really remember what I'm talking about. So we're bringing in 3 blues. I think we do cut a blue. Probably cut. Probably, yeah, 1 Plowthrough. Okay. So in like against Icelander, we cut these 12 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and you might even keep Plowthrough in against Icelander. Like, this is, my sideboard guide was just in my head, fairly improvised. This is 1 extra card than we want, so I think we 5, 6. So yeah, probably cut these 12 against Icelander, even though I said earlier keep like Plowthrough can be good into Icelander. And then probably bring in these. So what we just did, so there's 30 out of 80 blues, right? 9 of the blues are down here, which means against Icelander and bringing in these more, we have 3 overpower, 3 route in the deck now. So we're up to 24 blues to be able to afford these. And we're trying to play out 5, but ideally 6 resource turns. Yeah. So I'm starting to run out of ideas here of what to talk about. Against other reprise matchups where you think they're going to block, you probably don't run E-Pot. You got to think about, you really got to think about, do I want any cards that do not block? Because these energy potions are the only cards that do not block. So against certain matchups, you definitely do not want energy potion for the blocking factor. You want everything to block 3. You're just super tight on blocking. And let's see, some cards I didn't run, like Pride comes to mind. I don't like Pride. This list is all about maximizing the first swing, the power on the first swing. So, like I said, it's an all-in list. Not particularly defensive. It has some defensive options. And again, I may be changing the list most likely for my upcoming back-to-back PQ days. And yeah, I think we're gonna cut the video here. If there's any questions, definitely reach out to me. Like, I could do a follow-up Q&A. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and everybody enjoy your season. I also realized I didn't talk about the equipment, so here we go. This is what I run. I do not like Crown of Providence because I cannot cycle on demand. I would much rather block an extra on hit from 5, block an extra snatch, block an extra hammer. I just want to block an extra thing. And I know that Providence is good against CNC. For me, in my opinion, it's not enough reason to run it just for that one card. And oftentimes I'm taking CNC to the face and then taking a pummel to the face and swinging back with a 3-card hand. That's how we roll. We live and die by the blade here. We are not playing it safe, generally speaking. We want to overwhelm the opponent. We want to take the damage for another chance to overwhelm the opponent. And if they're getting the hit on that extra snatch or that Mask of Momentum potentially, which no one should run into us, but sometimes they do. That's just why we have Arcanite Skullcap. I also do not think that I think the hands are consistent enough. This deck is by definition consistent enough where the value of cycling one card is not really that great unless you can just do it on demand by fixing your hand with a 4 blue hand with copper. And we're doing that to maintain tempo. So likely if we took a bunch of hits, we don't want to block that last turn, especially if we have tempo. We're trying to start tempo. We don't really want to block when we don't have to, unless it's just a crazy on hit. Courage, I have maybe a bit of a different take on Courage that other people don't necessarily think about it this way. I basically, to maintain tempo, because that is the play, that is the game plan, maintain tempo at all costs. I like to use Courage with 2 counters, but I do fix red hands with Courage. If I just need to keep up the gas, keep up the offense, I will break Courage on a red brick hand and then draw my next hand and just keep swinging. And most of my games were just the opponent couldn't handle the snowball. They just get overwhelmed, and I think that is really what you want to do. Will it continue to work? You never know. But this is my equipment. Anytime you're running the defense reactions, you bring in Tunic instead. So that's versus Guardian. Definitely bring in Tunic against Icelander. It is the counter to Frostbite. Against Oldhim, I do not think you need Tunic against for the reason of the frostbite, I think often you can just straight up afford it. And so I've been actually testing Courage into Oldhim lately with no defense reactions and just trying to race. That is what I've been testing lately. Will it work? I don't know. And the rest are pretty self-explanatory. I always run bolters, even if Icelander wants to play Blizzard or Hypothermia. I'm making them have it. If they have it, they have it, but they have to have it, or they are going to get swung at again. And I also realized I didn't go over the top 8 matchups. First one was Icelander. I'm not particularly afraid of Icelander. She has such a slow startup, and I have such a overwhelming reprise package that there's just nothing they can do a lot of the time. I just snowball and win. Doesn't even matter if you can swing twice or not. Against ice matchups, I'm really just trying to chip down. 6 damage into getting 6 damage through against an ice hero, I think is a success. I'm happy to see that. I want to keep, especially against Oldhim, I want to keep the life totals close. Then round 2 of top 8 was another Oldhim. I somehow beat him. That was the match I was talking about earlier, where I got the 3rd swing with twinning for the win for the lethal. And the last match was Phi. Finally, I run into a Phi in grand finals. That was a crazy freaking game. He got me to 1. He was at 12. I presented 12 and kept tempo for the rest of the game until he was dead. At one point, he guessed I had Singing Steelblade in Arsenal based off of no information. I guessed he had Sink Below in Arsenal because I had the lethal dominate Nourishing Emptiness, but I was thinking to myself, he has Sink Below and I just play Nourishing Emptiness, then I lose because then he's going to take tempo back. So we both guessed each other's arsenals correctly at the same time. Who guesses Singing Steelblade? Who guesses the tutor? What kind of madman do you have to be? And then he has to calculate what I'm tutoring for, which is impossible because he ended up blocking with equipment and I ended up searching for puncture. If he didn't block with the equipment, I searched for response, and then I used that one resource on the second swing into putting it into the bracers. So he got it right. It didn't help him, but he got it right. And that's the beauty of Singing Steelblade. You create 2 wrong answers, and then there's situations where there's nothing they can do, which is great for us. So that is the equipment. That's the top 8 matchups. And the top 8 was pretty scary. He ran Momentum into me, which again I think is a mistake. I think you always run Lynx into Dory. And he also ended up popping it early because he full equipment blocked and kept his entire hand. Then he had tempo for most of the game until I was literally at 1. Then I made a comeback from 12 life. I 100% thought I would lose. Was not expecting to win that game at all. Not expecting to come in first. But yeah, here we are. So that is the equipment. And again, thanks for watching.